Now back to live coverage on the CRN Sports Network.
Looking for a life insurance company that specializes in what you actually need? Protection. Call Danny today with Symmetry Financial. Danny is certified in all 50 states, which means Symmetry Financial is not limited and has over 30 companies to choose from. Symmetry Financial has proved time and time again that their options and pricing is just better than the rest. Give Danny a call today at 828-994-1681 to see how Symmetry Financial can make life simple. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network, the voice of the community, the voice of anything sports, and proud to be the voice of the Comets. Follow us at crnsports.org. Now let's get back to the broadcast coverage on CRN. And now back to live coverage right here on the Community Radio Network, the home of your Clayton Comets.
The following is a presentation of the CRN Sports Network, solely for the private non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission without the express written consent and CRN Sports Network is restricted and prohibited. Follow us online at crnsports.org. While everybody is still being quarantined at home or still trying to figure out how to get through the day-to-day life of what has been going on since March 12th, one thing for certain, and this has taken aside my credentials and accolades of being a 20-plus year broadcaster of dirt track racing. Dirt track's where it's at. I'll always say that. I love NASCAR. I love all racing, but there's nothing like seeing the fans, the masses of gatherings at red clay tracks across the country. Whether it's super late models, pro late models, crates, modified, sprint cars, midgets, to street stock or even a mini stock, we talk about it right here on this new CRN podcast, Red Clay Life. This is episode number 1. I'm Wesley Outland, and joining me from 75 Radio and, of course, also the Liberty News Network, public relations person at Boyd Speedway in Ringgold, Georgia, is my friend Mike Guerin. Mike, good afternoon, buddy. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Wesley. I'm doing great. There's this strange phenomenon going on here in East Tennessee. The sunshine is out.
Well, we dealt with rain. We dealt with some storming the other day. Last night it was raining cats and dogs here at our locations for CRN mobile headquarters in Clayton, North Carolina. He's in Cleveland, Tennessee. Before we go any further, Mike, how much do you miss Cleveland Speedway? Man, that was an awesome track.
Oh, my God. Cleveland Speedway, during its heyday, was the mecca of dirt track life. Everybody across the country came to Cleveland, and tracks like Atomic. There'll never be another Cleveland Speedway.
That's right.
It was a great place to be.
Cleveland Speedway was, man, I remember the first time I ever went there. And a matter of fact, it was because of Kenny Slayton and the ODC group and me and myself and Wesley Womack and some other people. We all got together. We went down to the racetrack and we were doing the Ray Cook Southern National Series of all things, and that's how things got developed going there. And I remember seeing that racetrack and you know, going and meeting all the people, and it was just you know, there was so many people that were devastated when that racetrack shut down, and I just wanted to kind of get your take on the place, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it was a staple in this area for many years. I used to joke we would go to Cleveland Speedway and watch the fights, and every now and then a race would break out.
For sure, definitely.
But it was a sad day when it shut down for good.
Well, let's be honest here. We met each other like literally 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
at the Ultimate Super Late Model Series opener to kick off the 10th anniversary year at the North Georgia Speedway. And I was just kind of going to the tower and finishing up working on some things. And I just kind of ran into Kenny, and we talked for a few minutes, and then you were there, and the rest, they say, is history. And here you are working with our great CRN Network crew and on this new podcast, Red Clay Life. Things just, like you said, sometimes God has fake things happening just crazy for a reason.
Oh, absolutely. I believe God puts people in our lives at a time when we need them. That night we were sitting at Boyd Speedway, and all of a sudden we decided we need to go to North Georgia. This might be the last race we get to see for a while.
Yeah.
And then I met Wesley Outland, and here I am.
And I'll tell you what, our hearts are yearning for everybody. I mean, I know you kind of snuck around, you and the promoter, David Duplessis, and Kenny Slayton, able to do a couple of, practice sessions to try to keep everybody separate, but you've successfully tried to have a couple of days of open practice. But I know everybody is itching to get back to the racetrack for some red clay racing. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. We held our first event this past Saturday. We're allowing drivers to rent the facility. We're keeping the numbers low, the car counts low, keeping everybody separated. Sadly, no fans allowed. We're doing everything we can in our power to follow the precautions. We're in a unprecedented time, something I've never seen in 51 years.
For sure.
But we're going to keep doing it as long as the authorities let us. We're actually going to try to practice tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. However, talking to Kenny earlier, the track's about 4 foot underwater right now.
Wow.
So hopefully Saturday we're going to have a good turnout and get to smell some fuel and see some dirt.
And I will tell you this, the weather has definitely plagued a havoc, not just only on the situation of what we're dealing with, this coronavirus pandemic that's pretty much shut down our entire world as we know it, all of the sports, so to speak. I mean, I ain't going to lie to you, Mike. I mean, thank goodness we're doing these CRN podcasts because I've been quarantined at home since March the 15th and when I got back from Cochrane, Georgia. And I want to go into that subject real quickly because I had a phone conversation with somebody here probably about 2 hours ago. And I guess, I'm going to speak my mind, Mike. I know you're going to speak your mind. That's our right as people, as human beings. But I think sometimes, and I've even said this, sometimes people take text the wrong way. Sometimes people take verbal or post things written out the wrong way. I had a gentleman call me about 2 hours ago, and he said that there were some people that were kind of flustered at me because 3 weeks ago I'm advertising about praising being at North Georgia and Cochrane and being able to do our jobs and races and God bless America and blah, blah, blah. I will say this much, and I don't want to be on this subject for long. And, Mike, I think you'll agree with me, or maybe we won't. The situation from North Georgia to Cochrane has changed for our country in the last 2 weeks. And that was the reason why a lot of people took advantage of going to the racetracks because they knew that there was possibility that we weren't going to be. Were we wrong for trying to race at the time? No, I don't think we were. I don't think it had officially gotten that bad. I don't think it really gotten that bad with what the pandemic was and the people and the numbers coming into the spike of people getting sick. I
agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead. I made a post. I made a post on my personal page. Mind you, Mike Guerin, my personal page, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Snappy Chat, calling people idiots that were congregating in big mass crowds, doing bonfires and swimming at the beaches, young millennials during spring break, saying we don't care what the president says, we don't care what the government says, we're going to do what we want to do. And I guess when I seen that, I typed up, well, you idiots, whenever you continue not listening to our government and our president or our governors of state declare martial law, you're going to wish that you did because you lose your freedoms as an American if martial law is declared. It becomes a military government. If people do not know what that means, basically that's what it becomes. And, Mike, I had somebody say, well, you're disrespecting us as American people, and you're disrespecting me as a guy in my backyard that likes to have a bonfire or drink a beer. Hell, I like to drink a beer on occasion, Mike. It was in no way to disrespect people and doing what they want to do in their own time. It was more or less calling out the idiots, the young millennials that would not listen.
I can't agree with you more. And Kenny and I had this conversation, I think, last night. Seems like no matter what we do, good or bad, we're going to make somebody mad.
Right.
And, this changes daily. It's a dynamic set of events, which means it's constantly changing. And we've got to put faith in our leaders. I'm a retired paramedic. I understand the seriousness of this. However, if people will use some, and I'm about to say a rare word.
We did put explicit on the bottom of our intro, so you can say how you feel if you want to. Go ahead.
Common sense.
I would say common damn sense.
Common damn sense. Jeez, oh Pete. I know, I was a teenager, and I was in my 20s at one time. I'm getting old. I'm in my 50s now. When I was 20, would I have listened? Probably not. But, we live to be this old for a reason. So it's.
But my question is this, though. My question is this, and then we're not going to get on this topic forever. But I did want to apologize to anybody if I offended, if I said something that I made them feel disrespected of being in their backyard or not being able to have a bonfire or drink a beer. I'm talking about the mass gatherings of people. I'm talking about the stubborn, hard-headed folks that don't have respect for authority. They don't respect their mom and dad. So no wonder they ain't going to respect and do what their governors or the leaders of their country tell them to do. This is a very nice way of saying, guys, come on, wake up. The only way we're going to be able to get back out at the racetracks and enjoy what we love to do, or go into the sporting events, go into the basketball games, the hockey games, the football games, the baseball games. Come on, man, I love baseball. It's baseball season almost. It's April. We're going to have to wait till probably May or June for baseball now, is because of this pandemic. I'm not happy with the way it happened. Do I feel the leaders of our country made mistakes in not warning us and helping us be aware of what was going on? Absolutely. But with that being said, Mike Guerin, we can't continue to say it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. We have to work together as a team to find a way to fix this so we can all be happy again.
Absolutely. I mean, we all hold responsibility. We are responsible for our own actions. That is something that's gone in the past. It's always somebody else's fault. We have to stand up, take responsibility, take care of ourselves, our family, so we can get back to doing the things that we love.
So with that being said, we have a great show for you tonight. We're getting ready to go to the phone lines. We're getting ready to bring on our first guest here in just a couple of moments. We are going to connect to Will Herrington. And my goodness, I know we were talking about the big race that he had back in, I'm sorry, what I was trying to say. The big race he had back in March when he won the Cochran Clash race on Sunday night. He won the Street Stock World Championship race that was postponed to December a couple of weeks ago. He won that race. He won all the Street Stock races. Mike, he pocketed $11,000 in these trying times for our country. That was a good payday for that young man out of Hawkinsville, Georgia.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to see if he'll let me borrow $5 tonight.
We'll see if we can add some money to the fund, right? So, hey, in addition to Will Herrington, he's going to be joining us here in just a couple of moments on Red Clay Live. We're also going to have on the driver of Matt Henderson. Matt's my buddy. I ain't talked to him in a long time. It's been a while. Back in my old Nee Smith, now Crate Racing USA touring announcer days. We'll talk with him, and we're also going to have on, man, this gentleman, this legend of dirt racing in the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame. Such a respected gentleman, so many accolades. I actually got the privilege to see him at North Georgia the other Friday night when I met you, Mike, and we talked for about a good 10 minutes. The Chattanooga Flash, Ronnie Johnson, one of the guys that will go down as one of, and I even say the Southeast, but I would even say the country